Hey y'all, and welcome back to Sweet Pea and Peony's Designs. I'm Jennifer, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how I ombre'd this decal. I ombre'd my glitter from white to blue and then did the reverse for the decal, so blue to white. I got inspiration for this tumbler from Jessica Flynn's Matte Leopard Ombre tutorial. It will be listed and linked in the description box below, along with all of the products that I used for this tumbler. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That lets me know that you're liking the projects that I'm doing, and also hit the notification bell so you never miss another video from me. Let's go ahead and get started. I have fully sanded and prepped this tumbler. I recently did a video where I show you how to properly sand and prep your tumbler. I will link it in the description and put it in the top right hand corner if you want to check that out. I just ombre'd this tumbler with white and Seaside from Rust-Oleum. I'm not sure the size of this cup. It was just a random tumbler that I had in my craft room. So right now I just mixed up 5 milliliters of epoxy and I'm spreading it evenly on the cup. I did heat up my cup a little bit before I started spreading the epoxy to make it spread easier. Now I'm going in with Parabatai from Peachy Olive Glitters, and I'm focusing at the top rim. I'm really dumping it on, and then I'm going to fan that white glitter out some to kind of like drip or sprinkle into the middle of the cup, because that's where I kind of want less coverage, so that way I can ombre that white into the blue. So as you see right here, I tilt my cup down and I am just tapping the glitter jar with my finger, and you can see I'm getting coverage, but not nearly as much coverage as I was when I was doing the top rim. The higher or steeper you turn your cup downward or angle it downward, the more your glitter will kind of like sprinkle down the cup. So then we're going in with Dawson, also from Peachy Olive Glitters, focusing on the bottom and that bottom rim. And when I do that, you see the cup is horizontal, and now I am tilting it downward again and just trying to get a fan. I don't know why I tilted it, but I did. So we made it horizontal again, and we're just pouring on this glitter because I do want full coverage. And then as we get closer to the middle, I will tilt the tumbler down like I am right there, and I will tap it with my finger, my index finger, instead of shaking it on. As you can see, I am getting that glitter to kind of sprinkle down the cup closer to the middle. And right now I'm not trying to get full coverage. I really just want to lightly sprinkle that color or that glitter down to the middle of the tumbler. If I'm getting full coverage at this point, then I'm not allowing the space that I need to ombre in between each of the glitters. So basically what I'm doing from here on out is just switching between my white and my blue, and tilting my tumbler down and just, again, sprinkling it, tapping the glitter jar with my index finger to add a little bit of glitter at a time to get that good fade in there. And then I'm gonna go back in with the white and do it all over again. So right now I'm just, again, trying to slowly create that ombre with my glitters. We have a little helper today helping me with this voiceover. So now I'm gonna go in with full coverage. I am dumping that glitter on and just making sure that I have good coverage throughout the white and the blue. At this point, most of that epoxy should be covered by glitter, and what isn't, I'm going to get that coverage by dumping this glitter on practically. After that epoxy dried, I went ahead and spray sealed it with Rust-Oleum 2 times clear. I sprayed it really well. I let that spray paint dry for about 45 minutes, and then I went in with my first coat of epoxy. This is 50 milliliters. I wish I would have done 60, but I didn't want to mix too much. So as you can see, I'm just focusing on the white glitter right now because I don't want to start with the blue and then mix the blue into the white. I'm okay if the white goes into the blue because I feel like it wouldn't be as noticeable. So as you can see right there, I did have white glitter on my glove, even though I spray sealed it. Sometimes that happens, and if you want to make sure you don't have any glitter at all when you're doing your first coats of epoxy, then just spray seal it a few times, letting it dry in between each time. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just spreading the epoxy onto the tumbler, starting with the white and then going in with the blue. Sorry, guys. And then I'm also going to make sure I focus on the bottom rim and the bottom of the cup. Don't forget to get epoxy on the bottom of your tumbler as well. Then when I am done, I go into the middle of the tumbler, so that way if I have any white or blue glitter on my glove, then hopefully it'll kind of add to that ombre. So after I finished applying epoxy to the entire tumbler, I let it sit for just a minute or two to let any of the micro bubbles that might be on the tumbler rise to the surface, and then I pop them by using a torch on them. I let this dry for 4 hours. This is quick coat from Alumilite, so it was dry within 4 hours. After this coat was dry, I did go in with a second coat of 60 milliliters of epoxy that time, let that dry for 4 hours, and then I wanted to see if I could sand. I did have some pokey bits, more than I usually do when I sand on this tumbler, but I really didn't want to add a third coat of epoxy on top, so I sanded it to see if I could sand it without scratching the glitter, and I was able to do that. I sanded this tumbler, the entire thing, and was able to get those pokey bits down. I even sanded the bottom and bottom rim and also the top rim. You'll see that in just a little bit. So basically what I'm doing is just using my sanding block and very lightly sanding the entire surface of the tumbler to get the pokey bits down, so that way it will be ready for my decal. Now we're going to go ahead and sand the bottom. I started out with a 120 grit just to be cautious that I wasn't going to sand any of the color off of my glitter. Once I felt like that wasn't doing it for me, I went in with a 60 grit sanding block, but I am not using a lot of pressure. I'm being very careful that I do not scratch that color off of the glitter. After this, we're going to go in and sand our top rim. You'll see that in just a second. I did have a little bit of trouble getting that epoxy off with my craft knife. So I saw somebody had used a heat gun and just heated up that top rim and then used their craft knife. And that's what I did. I heated it up for about 30-45 seconds, and that made it so much easier to run that craft knife underneath that epoxy and clean it all up. So I will be doing that every single time I clean up the top rim from now on. Then I went in with a 60 grit sanding block, and as you can see, that sanding block is not sitting on top of the rim. It is at an angle for most of this video like that. What that's doing is exposing a thin line of stainless steel, and that will allow our layers of epoxy to sit there and create a seal, than them being on top of the tumbler. Our lids rest on there. It gets a lot of wear and tear on that top of our cup, so we want to create that seal right on the side at the top. So that's what I'm doing there. All right, guys, so here is our decal. From here to here is going to be blue, and here to here is going to be white. I'm going to go ahead and start off with my white and show you how you ombre a decal. I'm using flat white from Rust-Oleum. I'm going to do short little bursts, so hopefully I don't get too much pooling. The black line is kind of where my ombre should be fading into the next color. So that's just a little reference for me. Here's the blue I'm using, Seaside. I am almost out of this color, so I'm hoping I can get this done before I run out. Oh no. Oh, come on. We got this, guys. We got this. All right. I'm going to go back in with the white because we have all of this overspray. Short bursts, short bursts. I don't want to have to do that blue again since I am almost out. All right, let's stop and look at it. See what we're working with. I think that might be good. I have some white over here that I don't really want. I've kind of lost my black lines. I know the P is right there. I think I need a little more white further this way. I'm not even on camera. Okay. So here is what it looks like so far. I think I need a little more white over here. So I'm gonna do that very carefully. You can see it's dripping here because when I did the blue, I went really fast because I was worried about running out. Normally you would do short little bursts like I've been doing with the white, like this. Okay, I'm going to attempt to get some of the white specks that are out of there out. I'm gonna wait for the wind to stop. All right. All right, that's good on the blue. Of course, now we have more on the white. Okay, all right. And that is it, y'all. Let's get y'all closer so you can really see. So that is what it looks like when you spray paint, like ombre a decal with spray paint. I am gonna let this dry for quite a while probably because I have a lot of spray paint on there, probably a few hours, and then I will apply it to the tumbler that we've been doing. I am gonna lay this flat so that way nothing drips. All right, here is our decal. It is all dry. I did let this sit overnight. I sprayed it, I think around maybe 2:30 in the afternoon, and it is 8:30 the next morning. So I did let it sit overnight just to make sure that it was nice and dry since I put so many coats of spray paint on it. I'm now gonna remove the backing to expose just the words. You can see, especially here, you can still see the words. And over here, it's matte, but where I was worried about it pooling is now laying flat. Y'all, I have no idea what happened. I thought I pressed record when I went to apply this decal to the tumbler, but apparently I did not. And I do not have footage of me applying it to the tumbler. So I apologize for that, but I did apply it like you would apply any other decal. I put my transfer tape on top of the decal, used my little squeegee tool to press it all down. I did not use a lot of pressure though, because I didn't want to risk taking the paint off of our decal. And then I just applied it to the tumbler like you would apply any other decal. So again, I am sorry, I do not have footage of that. Also, a little side note, I did prep my vinyl before I spray painted it. I used a 220 grit sanding block and just scuffed up the surface until all of the glossy finish was gone. Dried it, or put it under some water and rinsed it off, dried it, and then spray painted it. Now I'm going in with my last coats of epoxy. This is Alumilite's Quick Coat. After I applied this, I let it dry for 4 hours and then went in with a coat of Alumilite's Plus UV Protection and let that dry for 24 hours. Here is our ombre glitter decal. I think this style is really cool to ombre your glitter and then ombre the decal the opposite colors. And the sky really is the limit for this because you can ombre any decal. You could do someone's name, a quote, anything that is long enough for you to be able to start with one color and then ombre it into the next color, you can ombre that decal. I also love this quote: we always need faith, hope, and love. So if y'all like this video, please let me know by liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss another video from me. I also have my Facebook group linked in the description below if you want to join my Facebook community. I hope y'all like this video, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.